This is Mean Green Halftime.
Ryan Baldwin here at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk. It is halftime out in Ruston, Louisiana, where the Mean Green are trailing the battle for the best in the West against the La Tech Bulldogs, 31-28. A back-and-forth game was expected between these Conference USA Titans, and the second half promises to be as entertaining as the first. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other scores from around the country. Starting off, as always, with our Mean Green women's team who are hosting La Tech at the Super Pit in Denton, currently trailing 17-14 at the end of the first quarter. Quincy Noble, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist to her name so far. Over in the Conference USA men's side, only one other game currently active. That's Middle Tennessee beating Western Kentucky with 3:20 to go in the second half. A couple of finals already. Florida Atlantic has beaten UTSA 73-64, and Rice defeats Southern Miss 76-62. A couple of games of note later on in the evening. Charlotte visiting Old Dominion. That's a 6 p.m. tip. And, of course, the game all UNT fans are keeping their eyes on. Alabama-Birmingham, the other three-way tie member in the Conference USA West, is taking on Marshall at 6 p.m. And Florida International will take on UTEP at 8. Over in the top 25, 3 games in progress right now. Number 4, Baylor trailing Alabama 34-35 with 20 seconds to go in the first half. 24, Illinois leading 17-7 over Northwestern. And St. John's is currently beating number 14, Villanova 7-4 with 13:35 to go in the first half. One final upset already in the books. TCU taking down number 19, LSU in Fort Worth 77-68 as part of the SEC Big 12 Challenge. And, of course, the biggest story in American sports today, Tom Brady is retiring after 22 years in the NFL. According to sources close to Brady, Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls and holds the NFL all-time records for most completions, passing yards, and passing touchdowns. A surefire first-ballot Hall of Famer, if ever there was one. And that'll do it from the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk. We'll send you back to Hank and Dave for the second half after the break. You're listening to the Mean Green Sports Network from Learfield. Ryan Baldwin here at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk. It is halftime at the Super Pit, where the Mean Green are doing something that Mean Green fans are becoming quite accustomed to, and that is lead at halftime. Through 17 first halves, they have trailed only 3 times and are 11-2 in games leading at the half. Again, leading the Old Dominion Monarchs 40-21 at the end of the first half. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other scores from around the country. Starting off, of course, as always, with our Mean Green women's team. They were unable to dethrone the Old Dominion Monarchs out in Norfolk. One silver lining that came out of that game, Maddie Townley picked up 4 rebounds, making her the all-time rebound leader for the Mean Green women's team, although they did drop the game 57-67. Back over to the NCAA Men's Conference USA. Dave touched on it earlier, but the big game today was Alabama-Birmingham at Louisiana Tech. University of Alabama Birmingham pulling out the 83-76 win over Louisiana Tech, making that top of the CUSA West very interesting at 6-1 all the way around. Middle Tennessee State defeated Southern Miss 74-60. Charlotte edged out Rice 67-64. FAU beat Marshall 71-60. One game still to play in the Conference USA. That'll be Western Kentucky visiting FIU. Over in the top 25, business as usual most of the way. A couple of upsets of note. Missouri State handling number 22 Loyola Chicago 79-69. And TCU, the Horned Frogs, pulling out an upset against number 15 Iowa State 59-44. Number 10 Houston is currently demolishing East Carolina 36-9. 3:27 left in the first half. And Tennessee on upset alert over 24. Tennessee over upset alert over 13 LSU 25-19. A couple of games still to play. Number 9 UCLA will be playing Colorado, and some finals throughout the top 25. Number 6 Duke handling Syracuse 79-59. 11 Villanova gets the win over Georgetown 85-74. Texas Tech number 18 handling West Virginia 78-65. Number 2 Auburn taking down number 12 Kentucky 80-71. 23 Texas beating Oklahoma State 56-51. Number 5 Baylor beating Oklahoma 65-51. And Hank Dickinson's number 7 Kansas Jayhawks managed to beat the Kansas State team 78-75. And of course, NFL divisional round this weekend kicks off with the AFC match going on right now. The Cincinnati Bengals, Joey B, taking on King Henry and the Tennessee Titans. And look at that, Joey B pulling the Bengals ahead of the Titans 16-9. 1 minute 19 left to play in the third. Still anybody's game. And Joe Burrow just threw an interception, which gives Tennessee great field position and a chance to tie. So lots of interest going on there. And that'll do it for us here at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk. We will send you back over to Dave Barnett himself at the Super Pit for the second half after the break. You are listening to the Mean Green Sports Network from Learfield. Ryan Baldwin again at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk. It's mayhem in the Music City. Ryan Tannehill, with 20 seconds left, throws an interception. The Bengals promptly take the ball back. One pass from Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase gets the ball in field goal position, and Evan McPherson with his 4th game-winning field goal of the season. The Bengals have won their first road postseason game in franchise history and will take on the winner of the Bills and the Chiefs tomorrow. That'll be back to you, Dave.
Well, wow. That's quite a way for the NFL playoff weekend to begin.
Ryan Baldwin here at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk. Halftime out at the Super Pit, where the Mean Green are leading the Charlotte 49ers in a low-scoring affair, 22-20. You got to think that will favor the Mean Green, as they have one of the best defenses in NCAA. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at some other scores from around the country. Starting off with our very own Mean Green women's team. They are in Charlotte right now, also taking on the 49ers. Currently trailing 65-63 with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Jazzion Jackson having herself a night. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and a block, ticking off all the boxes on the stat sheet. Back over to the men for other Conference USA games. Marshall visiting FIU. One of these teams will be getting their first Conference USA win. Currently at halftime, Marshall leads 31-29. Western Kentucky visiting FAU, 36-33 up in favor of the Hilltoppers. Still to play, the Mean Green's Saturday opponent, Old Dominion, will be taking on Rice at 7 p.m., and UTSA will be making the trip out to West Texas to visit UTEP. That'll be an 8 p.m. tip. Over in top 25 action, Purdue, number 4, visiting Indiana, currently in the lead by 1 point with 7:05 to play in the first half. Number 16, USC, trailing Colorado 5-6. Still 14-16 to play in the first half. One final, 21, Providence defeating Georgetown 83-75. And then 2 late games of interest. Number 3, Arizona taking on Stanford at 10 p. And San Francisco visiting number 1, Gonzaga, also at a 10 p.m. tip-off. Pro scene, we have the red-hot Mavericks, who have won 9 of their last 10, hosting the number 1 in the Western Conference, Phoenix Suns. Currently 3:21 left to go in the first. 19-17 Phoenix Suns behind Devin Booker's 10 points. And the Dallas Stars are looking to snap 3-game losing streak against the Buffalo Sabres. They are currently trailing 2-1 at the end of the first period. And that'll do it for us here at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk. We'll send you back to Dave and Hank here after the break for the second half. You're listening to Mean Green Sports Network from Learfield. Ryan Baldwin here once again at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk. Another day, another game where the Mean Green men's team are doing what they do best, and that is lead at halftime. Our halftime score out in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, is the Mean Green 32 to the Southern Miss Golden Eagles 28. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other scores from around the country. Starting off, as always, with our Mean Green women's team. They have made their way back out in front of the Southern Miss Golden Eagles at the Super Pit. Behind Quincy Noble, 17 points. They lead 44-40 with 5:50 left to go in the third. Over in the men's side again on Conference USA, one game that we're keeping our eye on is Rice at La Tech. La Tech starting to pull away in the second half, 59-46 behind 17 points from Kobe Williams. 10:47 left to go in that half. 2 other games concurrent to this one. 2 teams looking to get their first win in the Conference USA. That's Marshall, currently trailing Middle Tennessee by 2 points. 66-64 with 7:30 to go in half. And UTSA out in front of Florida International 30-22 at the half. 2 games still to play tonight. The other team we're keeping our eye on, UAB, is visiting Western Kentucky with an 8 p.m. tip. And UTEP and Florida Atlantic also with an 8 p.m. tip. Over the top 25, not much action going on. One final already. Wisconsin, number 11, beating Nebraska 73-65. Ohio State, number 16, currently beating Minnesota 32-30 with 5 seconds to go in the first. A couple more 8 p.m. tips. Number 6, Purdue at Iowa. And California visiting number 7, UCLA. Loyola Marymount versus number 2, Gonzaga at 10 p. And Stanford visiting number 15, USC at 10 p. as well. And the U.S. men's soccer team is beginning its 3rd leg of its World Cup qualifying match. This is against El Salvador. They are currently up 1-0 off of Anthony Robinson's 52nd minute goal. It is currently in the 90th minute with the USA looking to wrap that up and get another 3 points on the table. And that'll do it here for me at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk. We'll send you back out to Hank and Dave for the second half after the break. You're listening to the Mean Green Sports Network from Learfield. Ryan Baldwin checking in once again at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk. We have one upset on the books in the top 25 Big Ten quarterfinal action. Unranked Indiana knocking down number 16 Illinois 65-63. And another upset alert ready to go. Texas A&M up over number 4 Auburn 56-41 in SEC quarterfinal action. That one has 7:45 left to go in the second half. Now back to Hank and Dave at the Star in Frisco.
From Learfield, this is the NIT.
Ryan Baldwin checking in at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk because we have finals across NIT action. Number 4 Vanderbilt takes down the 5 seed Belmont 82-71. Oklahoma defeated Missouri State 89-72. And VCU handled Princeton 90-79. Additionally, one final in the Big Dance, Texas Southern will continue on mamboing after defeating Texas A&M Corpus Christi 76-67. Now back to Hank and Dave at the Super Pit.
Congratulations.
From Learfield, this is the NIT.
Ryan Baldwin at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk with a recap of college basketball and everything that's gone on today. The upper left quadrant quarterfinal is set after today's games, Xavier versus Vanderbilt, after they beat Florida and Dayton, respectively. And the upper right quadrant will feature Washington State against BYU after Washington State defeated SMU. Over in the NCAA, Duke did end up beating Michigan State 85-76. Villanova defeated Ohio State 71-61. And number 5, Houston beat number 4, Illinois 68-53. Now back to Hank and Dave at the Super Pit. Ryan Baldwin back once again at the Ramey King Insurance Sports Desk with a couple more score updates for you. The Mean Green women's team trail La Tech 57-52, 7:50 to go in the fourth quarter. Quincy Noble now with 19 points. Let's upgrade that upset watch to an upset warning out in Tuscaloosa as Bama's pulled a 10-point advantage over Baylor, 65-55. And elsewhere in the top 25, you've got Illinois, number 24, up against Northwestern, 29-25, and number 14, Villanova, leading St. John's 40-26 at the half. Back out for the conclusion of the Best in the West battle. Hank and Dave, take it away.